Hello, my name is Callum, and I'm here to do a download basically of everything that's in my head right now. And maybe it'll be helpful for me in a few years to see this. But I hope maybe there's other people out there that were maybe in the situation I was and need maybe a nudge to go towards things that they actually want to pursue. Basically, like I'm 35 years old. I'm at a point in life where I've left my career. I'm trying to leave my office-based HR human resources world behind. Like I don't want to take on another HR job. I want to make my life revolve around the things that I'm passionate about, which are things like uh, comedy, performing comedy, writing comedy. I do illustrations as well. I've written a few children's stories. Like I do pictures, and I'm trying to find a way of moving what has been an incredibly boring professional life for me to something that I'm filled with excitement for. And it feels like in every direction I look, in terms of trying to like build up an audience or build up a new customer base of like working as a professional comedian or a professional illustrator, it's like social media is the thing that seems to be the big hurdle for like I'm not a natural proponent of social media. I've not built up regular use of it over the last few years. And so I'm having to do a really unnatural thing, which is to basically like publicly display what I'm working on and ask basically for opportunities to work with other people. But I feel like I don't have a choice. Like I have looked in all these different avenues of like, can you apply for work as an illustrator? Can you apply for work as a comedian? Not really. Like you kind of just need to generate your own audience, and that's what I've come to realize. And so, this is like day one, day one of starting to try and get into a good rhythm of putting myself out there and seeing if I can find anything that works. So I'm going to start doing daily vlog posts. I'm going to be doing streaming on Twitch. I'm a big gamer, so I'm going to be trying to just put more content out that way. I'm going to keep working on my art. I've got a few different sort of story-based projects that I'm working on at the moment. I do a lot of picture book and like comic book style stuff, and that's what I'm really passionate about. So that's what I'm trying to work on, and hopefully maybe find work doing illustrations for other people or doing art for other people. I'd love that. Like I'd honestly love that. And I don't know if I've just got completely drunk on like social media YOLO style motivational content. But I heard this lady say it was just like the video was only long enough for these two sentences to be said. And it was basically, you can't have the life you want if you keep fueling the life you don't want. And I've not been able to get that sentence out of my head since I heard it. Because what I realized was that all my time and energy was going into fueling this office-based career, which I hate. I absolutely hate it. I can't stand it. I met my wife 12 years ago, and at that point we were both just finishing uni, or I'd finished uni when I met my wife, and the focus was how can we earn money so that we can leave home and we can live together. That was like the number one priority. So we both got jobs in offices. We managed to move out from home, and we've been on the path that those choices created for a decade now. Like 10 years of my life has spent in a professional career that is like the most boring thing I've ever done, and I've had to do it for so much time now. I physically can't stomach anymore. And so I think there might be other people feeling like that. And I took a gamble, basically 2 months ago, I was in a job and I left that job because I wanted to pursue a trip to LA, basically Los Angeles, to pursue comedy training with the Groundlings, which I've been working on online. So basically, I completed 2 courses online, an improv comedy. And then in the back of my mind, I always knew if I can pass these 2 courses, the third level that they offer, you have to do in person. And I was like, I'm going to get out to LA and do that. And that happened. That the sort of end of that sort of 3 years of planning and saving up money to do that trip happened this year. And I was so pleased with the opportunity to do that. And while I was out there, I rediscovered my love for performing stand-up comedy. So I found improv comedy originally from trying to do stand-up comedy, and I got freaked out when I got heckled, and it threw me off what I'd planned to say. And so I thought I need to get better at thinking on my feet. So I started training in and practicing improv comedy, perform improv comedy with a group called TBC Improv at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival for the last 3 years. Had a great time doing it. And what this trip to LA showed me is that I do love improv comedy, but I also have a real want to be an independent solo performer, whether that's stand-up comedy or improv comedy, or I was doing a lot of investigation into like the clowning performances and clowning performers, which I think is a really cool scene happening in LA at the moment. And it's left me with no doubt in my mind, I want to have a life that is fueled by creativity and art, whether that's performing on stage, writing for performers, writing for myself, or doing illustrations and animation as well. And that is what I want my life to focus on. And so basically I'm setting myself all these sort of accountability measures of telling the world that I want to do that. I'm going to be creating content on this channel. So Rough Renders Productions is my where I'm sort of curating all my and building up my illustrations and animation work. And the thing is, like, I've been basically working on this animations and illustrations solidly for last like 12 to 18 months. And the thing that's nuts is that there's really not much to show for that work, because it's a really labor intensive pursuit, particularly if you're doing them by hand. Like because I'm trying to learn it, I'm specifically trying to learn it using hand-drawn techniques, whether that's on an iPad or on paper. I'm not yet venturing into like using the really cool and advanced animation or sort of digital illustration tools that exist, because I want to sort of hone my craft first in terms of like my actual understanding of how to make and compose good pictures and how to bring them to life. But before I start like accelerating the content production with using like basically high caliber illustration software. But that's where I'm at. I am basically, I've left my job. I was spent 6 weeks out in LA. I set myself the challenge of being on stage every day or taking a class every day. I had to put myself out there every single day. I was there for 6 weeks. I left my wife and 2 kids at home for that period. That was really difficult. Put my wife in a difficult situation by having to look after her children on her own for that period. But she was really supportive of the trip because she knew how much it meant to me and the work I'd done to get that opportunity of going out and training with the Groundlings in improv comedy. So it's really lit a fire under me to not let that 6 weeks of work go to waste. That 6 weeks was the culmination of like another sort of 2-3 years before that of building up my improbability to the point where I could go and hold my own in a classroom full of Americans, having to frequently perform with an American accent, as a guy from Scotland, in case you hadn't picked up on that. And I think for me, like, I just want this to be the start. And I want to have this video online so that I can look back at it and remember what I was chasing. And hopefully this is just another one of the steps I'm taking to try and move things forward. And I do not want to step back into an office doing HR. I don't want to do that. And I want to find any means I can of making money and contributing to my family's financial income without having to rely on spending my time and energy in the corporate world, because I think it's like the biggest waste of time that humans have ever created. And there's a whole nother video could do on that. But basically for right now, this is just where I'm at right now. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to change my life. I am trying to make sure I don't just become another pissed off, depressed version of myself because I put all the dreams on the back burner because I had to meet the mortgage payments every month. I want to be making those mortgage payments through creative means. That's goal number one, right? So here I am. Who knows if you made it to this point in the video, but I'm going to be putting out more content, and I'm going to be sort of documenting how things go, because I want to change how my life has gone for the last 10 years. So let's see what happens.